Hi, this is Ryan from clovistar.com, Disruptarian Media. It's the 28th of January 2017, and there's a big controversy about the executive actions of Donald Trump and some of his commitments to deport illegal immigrants and to ban Muslims. And I wanted to give kind of a synopsis on how other countries are handling this, where, as the United States has been very open borders type, letting millions upon millions of illegal immigrants in. I think we're up to around 20 million of our population is illegal immigration. Um, and so it's become a problem here, just like it's become a problem elsewhere, due to this massive influx of immigration in other countries. Like Sweden, they're cutting off immigration where they used to be very open to it. And then with England, with the Brexit move that they just recently made, they're cutting off immigration. And they've got something like 7.5 million immigrants. That's of 2014, I believe. And that jumped from only 4.5 million in 2011. So in just like 3.5, 4 years, they're almost double the immigrant population in England. I'm sorry, that's 2013. That's when this article is from, and that's where I got this. Was from National Geographic. I just wanted to say, first of all, I don't agree with banning any particular religion. I think that's, a terrible qualification for immigration. However, that is based on a lot of the, problematic refugee issues and problems that are going into all these other countries, and including America, including the United States. I know, in fact, for Canada, if you've got any sort of, DUID, DUI, or drug charges, that was the only thing. And then I looked it up online, and yeah, sure enough, Canada is very restrictive on who they let in. But Canada is very restrictive, and Britain's becoming very restrictive. The Scandinavian countries are becoming very restrictive. You look at places like Japan, and only 1.7% of their population is immigrants. Australia, if you're illegal, if you don't have a proper visa, they lock you up in prison. There is approximately, as of 2013, 1,062 children in the detention centers, and many more adults than that in Australian detention centers. Um, Denmark is also paying people to leave who are illegal or of some sort of they've committed some sort of violation in their country. They're offering monetary incentives for people to leave. Sweden, which ranked first among 33 countries in migrant immigration policies, have seen a spike in unemployment, and now their unemployment sits around 16%. This is in 2013. It's up higher now, and they're stopping the flow of immigration. So all of this, a lot of this comes from the Syrians and the other issues, the refugees and stuff like that. And there's massive crime, there's massive problems, massive unemployment. You see some of these riots that they participate in. They riot for Sharia law, they riot for more benefits, they riot for this, they riot for that. And so that's, I think, why they're focusing on Muslims. I want to say that I totally disagree with that, with Muslims or their religions being a qualification or disqualification for immigration. However, one thing I agree with on immigration policy is Ron Paul. And you can look through all of my media for years. I've never had a strong stance against immigration. What I've had a strong stance against, though, is giving especially illegal immigrants, welfare benefits, medical benefits, cash benefits. If they're illegal, if they've broken a law to get here, like most other countries, including Mexico or Canada or other places, you don't just automatically get free housing, free medical care, food stamps, all this other stuff. You don't get that in other countries. We shouldn't give it here either, especially when we have 50,000 homeless veterans out there. If we have 50,000 homeless veterans, then there's not one single illegal immigrant that should get a single benefit. And that would kill this problem of immigration. We wouldn't even be talking about this if they just cut off benefits to illegals. That's all they have to do. I think we should have a more open border. And if we got rid of these immigration benefits, these illegal immigrants benefits, and let them come over and work for what they get, I don't see a problem with that at all. But if they're coming over here, dropping an anchor baby, they're becoming a citizen, and then the family lives off illegal welfare benefits, and I say illegal because they're not citizens, then that's the problem there. That takes away from needy Americans, Americans that have fought for this country in the military, Americans that have paid into benefits, of their own, Social Security, welfare, other taxes they've paid. So, when we're taking that general fund and distributing it to people who are illegal, that's the real problem. We don't need a wall. I disagree with Trump on that strongly. We definitely don't need a wall. But I am going to display several videos that other candidates, including Bernie Sanders, including Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Obama has deported the most immigrants, the most illegal immigrants out of any president, period. And it was over 3.5 million people that he's deported in those 8 years of his. And that's more than any other president has. But I'll play you clips where, candidates and presidents in the past have supported almost exactly what Donald Trump is proposing, minus the Muslim thing, right? And I don't agree with that either. But, when you want to talk about, oh, well, no, there's no illegal person. That's the thing is, if there's a country that taxes their citizens and they're a nation state, then those taxes should go to benefit the people who paid those taxes in, not the people who come over the border illegally and claim benefits that they haven't earned. So if we get rid of taxes entirely, or if we get rid of benefits to illegals entirely, then I have no problem with open borders. So I'm going to play these clips here. Follow along if you wish. Proves that it's not only Trump that favors this, and several of these candidates, including Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and others, have supported this wall theory. Hillary Clinton talks about it emphatically, that she definitely wants a wall. And that was in 2006, 2003, and Bill Clinton talked about it in 1995. So here's the clips. Thanks for tuning in. Check us out at clovistar.com and disruptarian.com. Put some links here at the bottom. You can check the description.
17 governors filed a lawsuit against you trying to block your executive decision on immigration. Are you concerned about being impeached?
No, because what we've done is not only lawful, based on the evaluations of the Office of Legal Counsel, but is of the same type of action that was taken by every Democratic and Republican president over the last 20, 30 years.
It's not that you changed your mind on this?
What was clear was that we could reprioritize how we deploy the limited resources we have to focus on the borders, to focus on criminals. We began that process as soon as I came into office. One of the things that I think is important to understand is that although we are reprioritizing to make sure that we're not in the business of separating families, we are still sending a message to people who have not yet come here. We're going to be enforcing those immigration laws so that newcomers, people who just arrive, you are likely to be sent back. And we're going to still be focused on making sure that, not just from Mexico, but anywhere around the world, that we can actually enforce better the laws that we have.
But if you, as you're saying, you always had the legal authority to stop deportations, then why did you deport 2 million people?
Jorge, we're not going to...
For 6 years you did it. You destroyed
Jorge,
many families.
Jorge,
they called you deporter-in-chief.
You called me deporter-in-chief.
I did Janet Murguia from La Raza.
But let me say this, Jorge.
But you could have stopped that.
No.
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace as recommended by the Commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
Look, I voted numerous times when I was a senator to spend money to build a barrier to try to prevent illegal immigrants from coming in.
I am, adamantly against illegal immigrants. Certainly, we've got to do more at our borders, and people have to stop employing illegal immigrants. Come up to Westchester, go to Suffolk and Nassau counties, stand in the street corners in Brooklyn or the Bronx. You're going to see loads of people waiting to get picked up to go do yard work and construction work and domestic work.
We're seeing these thousands of children come across, shunted off into makeshift shelters.
It's horrible.
Hard choice. Let them stay in the United States or send them back.
Well, 2 quick points. One, the numbers are increasing dramatically. And the main reason I believe why that's happening is that the violence in certain of those Central American countries is increasing dramatically. And there is not sufficient law enforcement or will on the part of the governments of those countries to try to deal with this exponential increase in violence, drug trafficking, the drug cartels. And many children are fleeing from that violence.
Should they be able to stay here? It's safer.
It may be safer, but that's not the answer. I do not.
So should they be sent back?
We have children 5 and 6 years old who have come up from Central America. We need to do more to provide border security in southern Mexico.
They should be sent back now.
Well, they should be sent back, but we have to send a clear message. Just because your child gets across the border, that doesn't mean the child gets.
I am adamantly against illegal immigrants.
I voted numerous times to build a barrier.
They're basically just being given a chance to do whatever they want.
People have to stop employing illegal immigrants.
What's the difference between your idea and Donald Trump's idea on building a wall with Mexico?
Well, I heard just recently in talking about the problems we have on our border that hundreds of thousands of guest workers from Central America are brought into Mexico every year because they will work for less than the poor Mexicans will work for. And in effect, the Mexican government's policies are pushing migration north across our border. And there can be no long-term resolution unless economic growth increases in Mexico and unless there is some commitment to its equitable distribution. Very briefly on immigration, I hope that we get back to comprehensive immigration reform. We've had a unfortunate political season where the issue has been used as a political football. There isn't any sensible approach except to do what we need to do simultaneously. Secure our borders with technology, personnel, physical barriers if necessary in some places, and we need to have tougher employer sanctions, and we need to try to incentivize Mexico to do more, and we need to create the environment in which we get people out of the shadows and then give them some earned right to legalization that will enable them to continue to work. If they've committed transgressions of whatever kind, they should be obviously deported. But that won't stop it unless Mexico and their neighbors to the south actually let these hardworking people have a future in their own countries. I mean, these are people who are willing to work, but for, them, there is no future in where they came from. And that is a problem that the governments of their country and we should be.
Something that is in what you said about being a democratic socialist is a more international view. But I think if you take global poverty that seriously, it leads you to conclusions that in the U.S. are considered out of political bounds. Things like sharply raising the level of immigration we permit, even up to a level of open borders, about sharply increasing
open
the
borders.
Amount of foreign aid.
Open borders. That's a Koch brothers proposal. The
Really?
idea, of course. I mean, that's a right-wing proposal, which says essentially there is no United States.
But it would make a lot
me.
of global poor richer, wouldn't it?
And it'd make everybody in America poor. Then you're doing away with the concept of a nation state. And I don't think there's any country in the world which believes in that. If you believe in a nation state, or in a country called the United States, or UK, or Denmark, or any other country, you have an obligation, in my view, to do everything we can to help poor people. What right-wing people in this country would love is an open border policy. Bring in all kinds of people who work for $2 or $3 an hour. That would be great for them. I don't believe in that. I think we have to raise wages in this country. I think we have to do everything that we can to create the millions of jobs.
Ask your question, please.
Gentlemen, my name is Gary Lott, and I'm from Kingman, Arizona. It seems that Arizona has come under federal attacks just for wanting to secure its southern border. What will you and your administrations do to fix the situation, to secure our border, and to protect the American people?
Congressman Paul, I want to go to you first on this one. You're from a border state. And as you answer Gary's question, a recent federal analysis says the cost of secure fencing, which they have in a good deal of the border along this state, would cost about $3 million per mile. Is that a good investment, money well spent?
Probably not, but we can do a better job, and the best way to do it is forget about the border between Pakistan and Afghanistan and deal with our border and put the resources on this border. This is what we need. But we need to change the rules. We reward illegal immigration. They get benefits. Texas hospitals and schools are going bankrupt. The restraints on the states and Obama's restraints on the states to do with it. Why isn't, if an illegal comes across the border and they go on private property, why isn't that trespassing? And why don't you have the right to stop it? So, but there should be no mandates from the federal government about what you must do. Under the 9th and 10th, there would be essentially none. But the federal government does have responsibility for these borders, and I just hate to see all these resources. I think that we should have much more of immigration service on the border to make it easier. It's hard to even get to visit this country. We're losing a lot of visitors and workers that could come to this country because we have an inefficient immigration service. And then that invites the illegal. We have to deal, we can't endorse the illegal, but the program today endorses the illegal problems. And a weak economy is always detrimental too because of the welfare state. We have welfare at home and some jobs go begging. We have jobs going begging in this country in the midst of the recession. Has to do with the economy. You can't ignore the economy, but also the welfare state, allowing immigrants to come over and then get the benefits. If you subsidize something, you get more of. So there's a lot we could do and we should do, and certainly this president is not doing a very good job.